What's going on, campers? Campfacer here. Welcome back to another Texas Chainsaw Massacre the game video. Today we're going to discuss a TikToker by the name of NebsV22 over in TikTok land.
Campfacer.
Anyways, yeah, so he made a video over on TikTok, and he was basically saying that he believes that Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the game, is going to fail at launch. And he also noted a release date that's false information. But today I'm gonna do a side-by-side video, and I'm going to play the video and pause it, and I'm going to chime in with my 2 cents, agree to disagree, and clear some things up and give you guys my opinion on why I believe that that Texas Chainsaw Massacre won't fail. Let's get started here.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre game comes out on March 31st.
Okay, so right off the bat in the video, March 31st is false information. That is not when the video game comes out. What he is referring to that a lot of people in the community are getting confused with is on March 31st, there's a tabletop board game being released by Trick or Treat Studios. It's called Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the game, and it's the tabletop board game. Gun Interactive has nothing to do with that game. Gun Interactive also noted that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the game, is coming out sometime in 2023. That has not changed. There is no exact release date just yet. But anyways, I just wanted to clear that up, you guys. So moving on.
It will fail.
Now, when he says it will fail, that sounds like clickbait. A lot of my friends and people out there believe that this is clickbait. I don't believe that's the case here. I think he took time and did a lot of research on game development and what games are doing good and what games are doing bad out there. And I respect that, where he's trying to I think that he's nervous that this game is actually going to fail, and he actually wants this game to succeed. That could be the case, and he's just trying to make an example, and maybe we could learn from this or see what's going on and see what he sees out there, and you know. So moving along.
Asymmetrical video games are a tough market, with Dead by Daylight obviously owning the market share. There are only so many people willing to consistently play an asymmetrical video game, so to succeed in this genre, you have to essentially monopolize it. To understand why Texas Chainsaw Massacre will fail, we have to understand why DBD has succeeded. DBD is a typical case of simple to understand, difficult to master. 4 survivors, 5 generators, 1 killer. You understand the basics after just 1 match. Most successful online games live by this principle.
Okay, so what he's saying here, in a way, is he must have been following the Texas Chainsaw Massacre development up to this point, but what he's saying is he's seeing it go down the wrong path. I think he's saying that the game looks like it's going to be very complex and very deep with the meta and so on. And if he's going to compare it to another game that I believe is over complex and very stressful, I would say Evil Dead the game is just that. I'm not bashing the game. I like it. It is fun, but it's very deep for the typical basic gamer, the average gamer. Now, I'm going to make an example of a game that average gamers enjoy to play, such as myself. I mean, I enjoy all games, but if I were to play a basic, simple game that's easy on my brain, I'm going to say Friday the 13th, the game, is a very enjoyable game, and it's successful because, to me, I feel like there's that breathing space from point A to point B. There's not much to learn in the game. You got to repair a vehicle and escape the map from Jason Voorhees. A game like Evil Dead the game, for an example, for an average gamer to fire that game up, they're going to be confused. There's a lot to learn in that game. There's a deep meta with the characters, the skill tree, the weapons, all that. You have to learn how to play the game, the meta game, and work as a team and build your character before you can even dive out in the field. And even when you dive out on the maps in Evil Dead the game, it's so stressful with deadites coming at you. It's like a battle royale. You have no breathing space. You're overwhelmed with things and objectives to do, and it's such a fast-paced game. People get so stressed out, including myself playing Evil Dead the game. By the time one of those long matches are over, whether I die or succeed, even if I succeed and win the match, I almost want to put the game to the side and fire up something as simple as Friday the 13th the game, or even Dead by Daylight. I think that's where he's coming at in this situation. But let's talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We don't know for a fact how it's going to feel playing it because we haven't played it hands-on yet, you guys. We only have learned a little bit about the characters and the metagame and the objectives in the game. So we can't really compare it to Evil Dead or Friday the 13th yet. So we'll have to wait and see on that.
Valorant, CSGO, Overwatch, Apex Legends, League of Legends. But this sort of difficulty curve does great things for sustaining growth in this industry. A new player can come in easily without having to soak in a wealth of knowledge, and players have an incentive to stay as there's always something to get better at and always something new to learn.
Again, he's talking about the average gamer. Why they're addicted to these certain games is because they don't have to learn everything. And a lot of people aren't invested out there. A lot of people don't have time to get invested in a deep meta, big, huge game with a big learning curve. A lot of people don't want to even deal with that. They just want to fire up a game and play it and enjoy it. And you could very easily say, well, why don't they just play a racing game or something like that? But if you're a true horror fan and you want to immerse your imagination in these horror movie games, you want to get that feeling of playing inside a movie that you grew up watching.
That's just the first reason DVD has done so well. We also have to take into consideration the content in-game. The game has licensed characters for lovers of all types of horror, and the game is also set in a universe where they could add infinite original characters. Texas Chainsaw Massacre doesn't have either of these things. I can't see a universe where TCM would ever be able to add a character like Nemesis or like Pyramid Head. On the other side of the coin, there is the fact that TCM is a limited universe if we are sticking to canon or realistic options. You're never going to see an interesting spectral character like the Nurse or a monstrosity like the Dredge. Limited content is going to hurt this game the same way it helps DVD.
Okay, well, Dead by Daylight, you guys all know if you've played the game. The game is a cat and mouse in a sandbox arena, and all you got to do is repair the generators, and it's the same old over and over again. That game gets boring to me as well. I could play about 3 matches once in a blue moon. I'll play 3 back-to-back matches, and I have to put it to the side. But what does sell the game, the DLC to that game, what makes the game the money and keeps people interested is the licensing to other horror movie IP icons or characters. But that's the game. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the game, isn't going to do that. They're not going to bring in like Michael Myers or Freddy Krueger because, they're staying true to the canon movie. Gun Interactive are hardcore horror movie fans. They've invested a lot of time in research into their games. They've gone outside the box and they've traveled to the movie locations and put hours of photographs and research, and they've learned how to immerse us true horror fans into these games the movies that we grew up watching, the Easter eggs and everything. It makes you feel like you're really in these games. It makes you feel like you're in the movie when you're playing like Friday the 13th, the game, and now Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So that being said, the DLC that's going to keep this game alive are going to be new maps from different films of the franchise of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or new characters, or new chainsaws, or different modes, even if they come up with a different mode. Who knows? Or offline challenges in the game. So there's a long life future for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It doesn't need to have outside horror movie licenses like Dead by Daylight, but that's Dead by Daylight. That's their DLC. The DLC to Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the new maps, the new characters, all that. So I don't know if that's something that he doesn't understand. Maybe even they could even make a Leatherface that runs a little bit faster than the last movie Leatherface, or maybe there's different abilities with certain characters from different films. They could change things up. I mean, it is a video game, so there's that, you guys.
You add all of that together along with an expected price point from $40.
So $40 is not that bad in my book for an asymmetrical multiplayer game. I wouldn't go any lower than that, only because once you start doing that, it's basically telling fans out there, it's like begging for them to play your game. And then it's going to make some people like myself be like, well, why are they begging me to play the game by selling it for $20? Is it not that good? But then again, if they sell it for $60, in my mind, I'm like, oh, this must be worth playing if it's $60. You know what I mean? So $40 and above, I'd go for. Any less, I don't think it would feel like it's a good game, because why would it be so cheap? I have no problem with $40 for a game. You guys out there, some of you fans of my channel know how much I paid for Friday the 13th as a backer. I don't want to get into details on that because I don't want to be flexing the price, but I have no problem investing my dedication to these games. And so anyways, I want to know what you guys think about this whole thing. Are you guys, do you agree with him? Do you agree with me? Do you have any other thoughts on this? If so, leave it in the comment section below. Let's discuss this a little bit more. Do you think this game's going to fail at launch? Do you think it's going to be successful as Friday and Dead by Daylight? Or do you think it's going to go down the path of Evil Dead? Do you think the meta game in this so far, what we've talked about and learn, do you think it's going to be too complex, too stressful for the average typical gamer? Do you think people are going to be able to play this easily and have breathing space from point A to point B? Because again, we haven't played the game hands-on. We haven't even seen a match being played like from beginning to end. But I want to say when the game starts and you're playing, you have that breathing space. You have room to be not so stressed out about what to do. I think you have room to like open up your menu, talk to people on the mic, get a game plan set. But then once something happens in the game, like say one of the Sawyer family comes after you, that's where the stress level's coming in, and it's going to make an addicting game. I think it's going to be very slow paced to a degree, but very addicting and fun game. I feel like when the match ends, whether you die or escape, you cannot wait to fire up another match. But that's what I want to happen. That's what I hope. I'm crossing my fingers because that's how Friday was. I'll never forget the feeling of playing Friday the 13th, the game, and wanting to play it over and over and over again. Again, with Evil Dead, that does not feel like that. It makes me want to put the game to the side. So I hope that developers out there take notes here where like us fans, this is how we feel. This is what we want to do. It doesn't matter how deep a game is. It matters how fun the game is. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. And as always, campers, stay out of the woods.